everyone, the Branson Fam is on the road and we're headed to Kansas City. Let's see how much we can fit into 48 hours. Let's go! We planned a quick 2-day trip to Kansas City, and like what happens to most people, our trip did not start the way we intended it to. We were supposed to leave at around 9 a.m. on Friday morning, but our air conditioning in our house went out and we had to try to get people to fix it before we could leave. So we ended up leaving a little over 3 hours over our estimated time of departure. We unfortunately missed out on some cool Kansas City activities with our kids, but we're still going to cover what we had planned to do so that you all might see something that you may or may not have ever heard of before.
Our initial plan was to visit the Crown Center, which is in an area in the heart of Kansas City filled with shopping, dining, attractions, and events. We really wanted to visit the Hallmark Visitor Center and Kaleidoscope in particular. Kaleidoscope is a free art-making space for kids. It provides all of the crafting materials for kids to make their own personalized craft projects. Unfortunately for us, we were too late for a Kaleidoscope art session, and we discovered that we were also too late to enter Legoland or the aquarium, which had been on our list of things to do for Friday as well. We didn't realize that they accepted their last visitors at 3 p.m. We hope that our lack of knowledge helps you all not make the same mistakes that we did.
Just because the trip didn't start the way we wanted it to did not mean we weren't going to have a great time. The Crown Center shopping and dining areas were still open, so we decided to make the best of the situation and explore. The beautiful fountains were a huge hit with our girls. They loved the different kinds of fountains all over the Crown Center. When entering the main building, we found several delicious-looking dining options. We had already planned our dinner location, but we will certainly go back in the future to try more places. Our girls were excited to ride the escalator and check out the unique shops and items throughout the shopping center. Some of the standouts were the Crayola store, the Hallmark store, and an adorable-looking cupcake shop, just to name a few.
Our kids were thrilled to find a space created just for kids called Fairy Tale Village. This was located on the first floor of the Crown Center shops. This space is free for families to bring their children so that they can experience fairy tales coming to life. Kids can explore the houses and castles of their favorite fairy tale characters. Let us know down below in the comments which fairy tales can you see as we venture through this creative fun space.
Paul and Charlie soon discovered the Fairy Quest Adventure Challenge, which was a scavenger-type hunt all around the Crown Center complex. They had to follow clues which led them to a store or standout place in the Crown Center, which would then give them a secret word to copy onto their adventure sheet.
Guys, we just got back from Fairy Tale Land, and we're doing a treasure hunt. So, we have these down, and now we gotta do this one. Waterfall!
After completing all of their clues, Charlie and Paul turned in the Fairy Quest Adventure paper at the customer service desk. From here, Charlie was entered into a prize drawing for completing the scavenger hunt. We had been told that the theme of this area changes throughout the year, so we are looking forward to seeing what other themes go into this space for children's imaginative play.
After exploring for a while, we were starting to get hungry. Luckily, we had dinner plans to eat at a very convenient spot right there inside the Crown Center. You probably guessed it already if you've been to this KC shopping center. That's right, we're talking about Fritz's Railroad Restaurant. At Fritz's, you use a phone attached to your table to call in your order. Your food is then delivered to your table by little electric trains that run on tracks over guests' heads. We found this to be a fun dining spot with good food and plenty of excitement for the kids as they watch people have food delivered in such a unique way. And we couldn't part from here without getting a picture together with our Fritz's Railroad hats. In our opinion, it was in the same price range as most of the fast food restaurants in the Branson area. So if you're ever near the Crown Center, make sure you try out Fritz's Railroad Restaurant.
That evening, we were able to spend some time with our family who live in Kansas City and then get some restful sleep before an extremely busy Saturday. On Saturday morning, we woke up early so that we could hit the road to the Kansas City Chiefs training camp, which takes place at Missouri Western State University in St. Joseph, Missouri. This particular Saturday was family day at the camp, and there were definitely plenty of families in attendance. As we entered, they had several different seating areas along the sides of the field and the end zones of both practice fields, all of which filled up very quickly. It was so neat to see how their practices play out and to get that close to the players that we admire on TV on a regular basis in our household. It was awesome to be able to show our girls how hard the best players in the world practice and how they are constantly moving from one thing to the next at full speed.
Even though they weren't in full pads on the day that we were there, everything was done at full speed and the timing involved in everything is incredible to see pan out. I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret if you promise not to tell anyone. Patrick Mahomes is really good at football. Watch some of these clips and how easy the Chiefs make some difficult plays look. One thing that is really cool about training camp is that you get to see the big name players close up. It wouldn't be a Chiefs highlight session without a clip featuring one of the best tight ends to ever do it. Number 87 in the playbook and number 1 in Jamie's heart for some reason. Travis Kelce was out there working as hard as anyone, even though he is now viewed as an older veteran on the squad. Something that I think is just as cool as that is when you see some lesser known younger guys that are busting their tails just to make the team come up with some incredible plays as well. You instantly become fans of people that work hard and are good teammates. The Chiefs have so many young guys that could be studs someday. We're going to highlight a couple that I think might make a splash this year and beyond. That last play was made by undrafted free agent rookie running back Deneric Prince, who looks to slot in as the kick returner and a future asset to the running back room. This one is made by 5th string tight end Matt Bushman, who seems to catch everything within his reach. You know I view it as hallowed ground anytime I get to see coaching legend Andy Reid at work. One of the best coaches to ever do it and a wonderful human being on top of that, Coach Reid is known to run a tough camp that prepares his players for the upcoming season. Oh, and Mahomes' deep connection with MVS is looking pretty impressive this year as well.
Paul could go on and on about Chiefs football, but we know that not all of you are necessarily Chiefs fans like you should be. Just kidding, we do want to show you all some of what Family Day offered our girls. There were plenty of things for kids to do around the stadium. Kids had a chance to meet Casey Wolf, the awesome Chiefs mascot. They also had activities like bounce houses, football toss challenges, rock climbing, face painting, and much more. Our kids especially enjoyed the bounce houses and getting to meet their funny friend, Casey Wolf. After the practice, several Chiefs players stuck around to sign autographs. However, we quickly learned that this was a very popular part of the event. We did get a couple of autographs, but we learned that we were in the wrong location for some of the more marquee players. We do want to thank all of the players that stuck around to make the kids in attendance have such an incredible memory. The Branson Fam will have to strategize for next year to get the coveted Mahomes or Kelce autographs.
Chiefs training camp was an eventful part of the day. However, there was still an entire afternoon of activity for Jamie and I. We headed back to Kansas City so that our girls could get some rest. We want to throw a huge shout out to our family for watching our girls while Jamie and I ventured to the home of the Chiefs, Arrowhead Stadium, to watch the Ed Sheeran Concert that evening.
We had purchased general admission tickets far in advance in order to be close to the stage at this concert. When you play the general admission game, though, you have to be willing to wait at the gates a lot longer. We purchased parking passes far in advance and were there right at the parking lot opening times. We were able to stake out some pretty decent spots in line for a good 2 hours before we were able to scan our tickets and enter the stadium. We were very happy with how close we ended up to the stage, even if we were there way before the opening performances. This stage is pretty neat because it is 360 degrees and the audience can surround the entire area around the stage. All of the musical artists did an amazing job of spending time on each side of the stage, so no one felt neglected or left out of the concert. Speaking of opening performances, they were both pretty spectacular.
Kat Burns was the opening act, and she is an up-and-coming 23-year-old performer from London. Her voice is beautiful and her personality has some serious star power. Listen now to just a small sample of this talented performer. Next up was Khalid, who is an American artist famous for hits like Better and Young, Dumb and Broke, which are coming up on 1 billion YouTube views each. All three performers were so positive all night, and that helped the crowd stay positive too. It was one of the safest feeling concerts that I've ever been to.
As incredible as the first 2 acts were, most of us were there to see the final stage of the Mathematics Tour. When we say that we have never seen someone with as much musical talent and ability in concert as Ed Sheeran, we are being 100% honest. We have watched some of the all-time great performers perform, but even they pale in comparison to the show that Ed Sheeran put on. What most people do not realize is that Ed Sheeran has, for the entirety of his career until this tour, played all of his concerts alone without any other band members. Even on this tour, he is going solo for the majority of it. He uses what is called a loop station or loop sync to make it possible. We are going to let a clip of this play in the background while we explain it. How it works is that he plays each section of the music and records it live right in front of you. He then builds off of it and even records his own backup vocals in front of you. Then he controls every part of the music with different loop syncs stationed all around his stage with his feet. So every time you see him put his foot on something, he is turning part of the music that he just recorded on or off. He does the drum beat by banging on his guitar even. If his timing is even a split second off with his feet, the entirety of the song will be off. His ability to do this while also playing guitar and singing is also so insane.
As you will notice, the outside part of his stage is a non-stop treadmill that has mics and loop stations scattered throughout it. So if you wonder how he is moving so fast around the edge of the stage, that is the reason. It really is a genius way of getting a 360-degree performance to work. Here are a few of our favorite clips from the show. Remember, we can only show very short clips due to copyright laws, and we will pop in and out with some voiceovers. A couple things here. First, check out the guitar pick screens that he has on his tour. Second, how sweet does 70,000 phone lights look at the same time?
In this clip, Ed Sheeran goes hard for a bit on the guitar before kicking it off and bringing back his amazing voice.
Not only is he a great performer, but his stage is pretty sweet too.
But as the subtraction sign symbolizes in his latest album, he can cut all the pyrotechnics and other incredible things out and just rely on his incredible voice and guitar. Ed sure does look good in the red, white, and gold jersey in Arrowhead. Here's another look at how he builds his songs for concerts using the loop station. It's absolutely ridiculous to see live.
Oh, and he does have an Addition Symbol album, so let's throw back the amazing pyrotechnics for the finale. I had to film in half zoom just to try to catch as much as I could. Also, you might notice the name on his jersey says Autumn, which fans believe is the title of his next album.
Kansas City, thank you so much. Autumn is coming. I will see you soon.
Ed Sheeran needs to be on your bucket list of concerts if he isn't yet. You also need to check out his Disney Plus special if you get a chance. It kind of tears back the exterior and lets you get to know the man behind the music. On our next trip to KC, we will plan to get there plenty early in the day to explore attractions like Science City, Legoland, and the aquarium. But until our next adventure, fam, we'll catch y'all later.